There is a lie that has stolen more dreams than failure ever could. There is a lie that has buried more talent than fear ever managed to bury. There is a lie so soft, so polite, so reasonable, that it has convinced entire generations to postpone their own lives. And the terrifying part is that we do not even recognize it as a lie because it wears the mask of wisdom. That lie has a name, and tonight I want you to look it directly in the eye. The lie is called the perfect moment. The perfect moment when you will finally have enough money. The perfect moment when your children will be older. The perfect moment when the economy will settle. The perfect moment when you will feel ready, confident, prepared, qualified, safe. My friends, listen to me carefully. That moment is not coming. It has never come for anyone. It will never come for you. And every day you wait for it, you are handing another 24 hours of your one and only life to a moment that does not exist. Let me tell you about a man who learned this too late. He was 40 years old, cleaning out his closet on a slow Sunday afternoon, when his hand touched something at the back of a shelf. A diary. 15 years old, dusty, forgotten. He opened it out of curiosity, and on the very first page, in his own younger handwriting, he read these words: "This year, I will start my business." He turned the page. The next year, in the same handwriting, slightly older: "This year, for sure, I will start my business." He turned again, and again, and again. 15 pages. 15 years. 15 identical promises. 15 versions of next year. And as he sat there on the floor of his closet, holding 15 years of unlived dreams in his hands, something inside him finally broke because he realized that he was still in the same job, still in the same life, still carrying the same dream. But now he was also carrying 15 years of tiredness on top of it. He closed the diary slowly and understood, for the first time in his life, that there is no such creature as the perfect moment, walking around in the world waiting to visit him. It was just an excuse. A beautifully dressed, socially acceptable, deeply respected excuse. This is turning point one, and I need you to feel it. Every time you say next year, you are not being patient, you are being robbed, and the thief is you. Every next month, every when things settle, every once I have a little more, is a small, quiet withdrawal from the bank of your life. And one day, without warning, that account will close. So let me ask you tonight, how many pages of your own invisible diary have already been written with the same sentence? Now let me tell you about another man, a young man, sharp, ambitious, hungry. For 3 years, he had been getting ready. He bought online courses half finished. He read books with beautifully highlighted lines. He watched videos, took notes, made spreadsheets, drew plans, joined groups, listened to podcasts. Every single night, he would lie in bed with the deep, satisfied feeling of someone who was working on himself. And every morning, he would wake up and start preparing again. Then, one evening, his younger brother, who had started in the exact same field only 6 months earlier, walked into his room and quietly placed a screen in front of him, showing his first real income. The older brother stared at that screen and could not speak. And his little brother, without any anger, without any pride, said one sentence that cut deeper than any insult ever could: "Bye. You know everything. You just never did it." That night, the older brother could not sleep, because he realized something terrifying. Preparation itself had become his addiction. Preparation had become the safest possible way to avoid the fear of actually starting. As long as he was getting ready, he could not fail. As long as he was learning, he could not be judged. As long as he was planning, he could pretend he was moving. But he was not moving. He was standing perfectly still, wearing the costume of motion. This is turning point 2, and it is one of the most dangerous traps of the modern world. Preparation is not action. Reading about swimming is not swimming. Watching 100 videos about business is not business. Making a plan is not the same as making a move. The people who succeed in this world are not the most prepared people. They are the ones who started before they felt ready, who moved with half information, who launched an imperfect product, who wrote a shaky first chapter, who gave a nervous first speech. If you wait until you are 100% ready, you will never begin, because 100% readiness is not a real number. It is another face of the same lie. Half ready and moving beats fully ready and frozen every single time. Now let me speak to those of you who keep telling yourselves that you are waiting for your circumstances to improve. There was a woman, a good woman, a devoted mother, who spent her entire adult life saying, "I'll start my own work when the children are older." The children grew up. She then said, "I'll start once they're married." They got married. She then said, "I'll start when the grandchildren start school." And one day, she found herself lying in a hospital bed, her body weaker than her will, her time shorter than her plans. Her daughter sat beside her, holding her hand. And with the honesty that only the last chapters of life can give, she looked at her daughter and said, "My child, my whole life I waited for the circumstances to become right. I want you to know something before I go. Circumstances never become right on their own. We either make them right or we walk forward anyway, with them still broken." This is turning point 3, and I wanted to shake something inside you tonight, especially those of you sitting there thinking, "My situation is just too difficult right now." Listen to me. Life will never hand you a season with no problems. There will always be a bill to pay, a person to care for, an emergency to handle, a doubt to fight. If you wait for a life without difficulty before you chase your dream, you will die still waiting. The people we admire in history did not chase their dreams in easy times. They chased them in wars, in poverty, in illness, in loss, in exile. They did not wait for the storm to pass. They learned to build in the rain. And you, my friend, can learn to do the same. You do not need better circumstances. You need a braver decision, made inside the circumstances you already have. Now let me talk to those of you whose hands are trembling right now, whose hearts are pounding at the very idea of starting. There was a young man standing behind a curtain, about to give his very first public speech. His hands were shaking. His mouth was dry. His legs felt like they belonged to somebody else. And a voice inside him said, very calmly, very reasonably, "You are not ready. Wait, do it next time, when you feel more confident." But another voice, quieter, but somehow stronger, whispered back, "If not today, then never." He walked out onto that stage. He stumbled over his opening line. He forgot half his speech. His voice cracked, but he kept going. And when he finished, the room stood up and clapped. Not because he was perfect, but because he was brave. That night, he learned something that most people never learn. Confidence does not arrive before action. Confidence is the reward you earn after you take action. You do not wait to feel confident to begin. You begin, and confidence walks in through the door you just opened. This is turning point 4, and it is where most of your excuses die if you let them. You are not waiting to be ready. You are waiting to be fearless. And that is a wait that never ends. Because fear is not something the brave do not feel. Fear is something the brave feel and move through anyway. If your hands are shaking, good. That means you care. That means it matters. Start with the shaking hands. Because still hands, comfortable hands, hands that feel completely safe, those are the hands of people who never start at all. And finally, my friends, let me tell you the story that I want you to remember for the rest of your lives. An old man, 80 years old, at the last stage of his life, called his grandson to his bedside. His voice was weak, but his eyes were sharp. And he said something no motivational book could ever teach you. He said, "My child, I want to tell you the greatest secret of my life before I go. I am not sad about the things I did. I am sad about the things I always meant to do and never even started. The book I never wrote, the journey I never took, the apology I never gave, the love I never expressed, the dream I kept promising myself I'd chase someday. All of that is still inside me, and now there is no time left to let it out. My child, please do not make the same mistake. Whatever you want to do, begin it now. Because there is no day in the calendar called someday. This is turning point 5. And this is the sentence I want carved into your soul before you leave this place tonight. There is no day in the calendar called someday. Look at your own calendar. Check every month, check every week, check every day. You will find Monday. You will find Tuesday. You will find December and January. And every date of every year, but nowhere will you find someday. It does not exist. It has never existed. It is the imaginary address where all our unlived dreams are quietly buried. And the greatest tragedy of a human life is not to fail. The greatest tragedy is to reach the final page of your story and discover that the best chapters were never even attempted, not because you were incapable, but because you were always waiting for a better moment to begin. So tonight, I ask you, how many diaries will you write with the same next year? How many years will you spend preparing for a life you never step into? How many circumstances will you wait to change while your own hair turns gray? How many times will you let trembling hands convince you to sit back down? And how close do you want to get to that final bed, that final breath, before you finally understand that the moment you kept waiting for was actually every moment you already had? The dream inside you is not asking for perfect timing. It is not asking for perfect skill. It is not asking for perfect confidence. It is asking for one thing, and one thing only: permission to begin. And only you can give it that permission. Not your parents, not your friends, not the economy, not the weather, not next Monday. You, right now, wherever you are sitting, whatever you are wearing, whatever is in your bank account, whatever chaos is happening around you, look at that dream in the eye tonight and say to it, out loud if you must, I have made you wait long enough. Tonight, we begin. Write the first sentence of the book. Send the first message about the business. Book the first ticket for the journey. Make the first call for the apology. Sign up for the first class. Post the first video. Take the first shaky, imperfect, terrifying step, because you were not sent into this world to spend your days rehearsing a life you never perform. You were sent here to live it fully, bravely, imperfectly, and above all, now. So I ask you, one final time, and I want your entire soul to hear this question: if not this moment, then which one? If not this year, then which year? If not you, then who? And the answer, my friend, has always been the same. It has been waiting for you your whole life. It is only 3 small words, and yet those 3 small words hold the key to every dream you have ever had. Why? Not now.